are still not set.
We somewhere.
I don't know what's your goal survival. I have like the second half, so there's still time. Just enjoy. We have to start our.
And you need change something. I don't know what the goal presentation. I don't know.
But it's okay. I will manage. If I for the evening,
Yes, but I have
sorry,
Windows.
that's okay. I will. You have one.
Yes, we can. Yes. In my we have all presentation of Word. Okay, but
I have to give this to people, and they have to return it to me, and
nemusíte mutovat, my si to uděláme v režii.
okay.
Jenom
But wait.
každý
Okay, but where's
speaker
the-
musí mít mikrofon.
Okay, so
Tenhle nebo
the first
tenhle.
presentation from Václav Pobera is where? It's a PPT, right?
First presentation is here, and then after you end your speaker, unmute.
I will just give it to him. Okay.
Plátna jsou v naší režii, na ty se nemusíte starat.
Výborně.
Vaše je jenom tady. Mikrofony, prezentace. Plátna my si staráme.
Excellent. I can give this to the speaker to change
Yes.
slides, right?
Hands up of microphones.
Okay. They will take care of it. We'll just give this to you. It's not start from hello winners. I wanted to say welcome to Prague, everyone. Space Master around 17 now. That's simple. So. And you want to... Okay, I'll start with the short and then we'll go with you're right. This is for you. It is working. This one is also working. You mute it like this.
One, two.
You will not hear it because the system for reproduction is behind us. You will not hear it. This goes for the speakers. They will put it on. And okay. Is there any here somewhere? No? Yes. Oh, then yes. Do you agree we can start? Not here apparently. They should be. I did not get a final confirmation on most of them. Isn't it bad? Perhaps it is open to others. Perhaps people will come. Do you wish to wait? First? The students are there. We should have 15 of them. I expected the student guests to be there. We have most of the presenters. There is, by the way, there is Colin from Girona. There is Colin. See. Just a minute. Are you ready to start? We can still wait for a 10-minute window because some people is not here. And some people who are here said that they want to be able to make it to Barbusa Cup, so it's still not know how many people are going to be here. 70 people did register for this. Welcome to Prague, everyone. Space Master Round 17. Well, that's impressive. We have here today people from Round 2 to Round 16. Welcome to Prague. We are happy to have you here because space matters.
Honorable guests, distinguished partners, ladies and gentlemen, Space Masters. On behalf of the Space Master Consortium, I have a pleasure to welcome you to our scientific workshop on competence needs for the growing space sector. Requirements from the global, modern space sector is changing permanently, especially during the recent years. That implies the importance of complementarity between the formal, informal and non-formal learning. They are the participation of world of work, the industrial partners, became a key success factor. I am pleased to see today consortium associated partners and the graduates, companies and the graduates, companies for the graduates. And I believe that this reflects the growing importance of the Space Master Consortium strategic partnership with the industry for fostering a new generation of scientists, engineers, politicians, and businessmen. Thank you, and welcome.
Thank you, Victoria. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to invite Dr. Václav Kobera from the Czech Ministry of Transportation. They are in charge of the space-related activities in the Czech Republic. Please, Dr. Kobera, take the floor.
Good afternoon.
Perfectly fine. You may use it.
Does it work? Hopefully, I hope so. So I need the clicker.
Yes.
I have some 10 minutes. Well, it's great to be with you. I'm very happy to see new faces because in the Czech Republic, if we have a lot of activities, I just see the same faces. So all the time I see you, it's great. The Czech Republic, I don't know how much you know about the Czech space and the space activities in the Czech Republic. So it would be a shame if I don't give you some basic information how we approach this area. Actually, maybe it's not known that we are in space quite a long time. This year it will be 45 years since we launched the first satellite to space. Or 55 years, not 45, 55 years. And also it's 55 years since the Czech or Czechoslovak in 1978 was in space. Now we have new astronauts in the reserve list of ESA, so we'll still we need to wait maybe a moment to have another one. But our history, I mean, main space history started some 15 years ago, maybe a bit earlier, because we entered European Space Agency 2008. Of course, we are part of EU as of 2004, and we are part of all the projects which are here in Europe. But in the Czech Republic, the main movement was some 10 years ago when we moved the space activities from the Ministry of Education to the Ministry of Transport. I think it was very good decision because from today's perspective, it was not just that transport is the main user of space applications, but we can consider space and space industry as a transport industry because we are just talking about movements in orbits, so it's just automated. And now in you see that we are talking about space law, about space traffic management. This is the area in which, for example, in aviation we are for many years. So space traffic management is a new era. Of course, it looks that we are really in transport. Our main activities are linked to European Space Agency. As I said, 2008 we became part of European Space Agency, and as of that time we increased our contributions quite significantly. Now we have some 60 million, maybe even more, euro per year invested to space activities with European Space Agency. And you may know that this is the tool. European Space Agency has the geo return principle. So the money which we are investing to ESA are coming back to the Czech industry, academia, working on international projects and building our competences here in the Czech Republic. I think that this slide shows you that these areas are very important for the Czech economy, and these areas are important for space in the Czech Republic. I mentioned that space is transport, so well the manufacture of transport vehicles is at the first row. But there are other areas, metal processing industry, we are very strong in this. Also electrical optical products, or we are also strong in new materials. We have also the plan where to go and how to get there. It's a national space plan, and it's quite easy because there are almost, well, I can say there are just two goals. The first is that we are building our space competencies to be competitive, and the second is that we would like to be more visible. And these two goes together quite well. There are examples of companies working with ESA, which is the springboard to the commercial market, and I think that we are quite successful. We are an industrial country, and we have the heritage in science for a long time, as I mentioned. But well, the strategy was really to go bottom up first, so to build or qualify our components and to be part of the bigger activities. So you can see that, well, we have some bigger activities here in the Czech Republic. We are building parts of boosters for Ariane 6 or Ariane 5 as well. We are building the dispenser for Vega launcher. We are building flexible solar arrays. This is the area I like very much, honestly. This is the top right. Or we are building, for example, the Plateau service module. This is the scientific mission of the European Space Agency. And this is the way we are proceeding. We realize that we really need to focus on the assembly integration competencies and testing. That's why we, some 1.5 years ago, initiated ambitious projects. And so, information for you, we selected 2 out of these 7 last month to be implemented. It's a project called AMBIC for the state user as observation satellite, around 100 kilo. And the second is QUIC, which is the ultraviolet mission to look at the kilonovas, and this mission, I think that will make the Czech Republic very visible because it's quite unique. Our space capacities are not just in Prague and Brno, but they are spread all around the Czech Republic. You see that the red dots are industry and blue dots are academia, so there are quite a lot of academia institutes involved. We have some 50 plus companies involved in technologies, 20 plus academia institutions involved in technologies and space science. We have also European Space Agency Business Incubation Center, but there will be a separate presentation where we have more than 50 companies already. So the sector is growing. We are proud members of these organizations, as I mentioned. We are following the activities there. we are very proud to have USPA agency in Prague, which I think makes the Czech Republic quite visible on the map of the world, space world. This exploitation of the main elements of space programs and also the space applications, market development. Kristina is here to say more words about that. And ESA, all the elements, we are very active. But well, space is becoming very complex, so there are many other activities you know very well, and we are part of that. Of course, it depends of what we would like to achieve in every of them. But well, we see that we really need to focus on security and access to space. This is the very big topic, and we are discussing together with other states, and education. And building new generations is really the key for future. I'll be happy to give you more information, but well, maybe if you have some questions, it would be easier to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kobera. So may I start with the first question? In your opinion, what would be the best field for the young graduates who are now entering the aerospace to direct their efforts?
Well, please write me an email. I will direct you to some companies. We have a lot lack of capacities. I think that it's visible everywhere. But well, we'll be happy if you stay in the Czech Republic working for our companies. So, well, in the companies, well, I see quite a lot of interest in space, even with startups. But well, big companies will be very happy to employ you.
Thank you. Any other questions? We have time for one more. Any questions? We have time for one more. Okay, perhaps later. So
thank you.
Let's thank Dr. Kobera again for his presentation, and please accept a small token. Later. Let me invite now Kristina Janopapa from EUSPA, the head of the Executive Director's Office. Kristina, please take the floor.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. So I understand you have been engaging quite a lot over the past period in a number of activities in relation to the space sector. I'm here to talk to you today about the European Union Agency for the Space Program. So, and what actually is the road that has brought us here? So EUSPA is a new old agency. Why do I say that? Because the road to EUSPA has started back in 2002, when the European Union decided to develop its own navigation system, Galileo, with a joint undertaking at that time. Then later on, it became in 2010 the European Union Agency, the European GNSS Agency, and it was hosted here in the Czech Republic, and we're very glad to be here. Since 2010, the agency developed more and more in activities for Galileo and EGNOS, which is the navigation system of the Union. And then in 2021, two things happened. There was actually the new regulation of the European Union in 2021, which did two things. It brought under a single umbrella all the components of the European Union activities, and it created the successor of GSA, EUSPA, taking over the activities of GSA, which were mostly on navigation, and expanding them to all the components of the European Union program. So the European Union Space Program, as we said, putting everything under one umbrella, this means that Galileo, which is the navigation system of the Union, together with EGNOS, which is the augmentation system of the Union, In addition, we have Copernicus, which is basically the eyes on Earth. It's the most elaborate Earth observation system which combines satellite assets, contributing missions, other type of ground assets. It's the #1 provider of data. We're talking about 20 terabytes of data per day. I'm sure you had the opportunity to learn about all of these things also during your master's project. And then it also provided, in addition, brought in GovSatcom. So the Union enters into the telecommunications area with governmental satellite communication systems and pooling and sharing on the capabilities of the different member states. And very recently, the program IRIS, which is to build a constellation for the Union with resilient satellite telecommunication systems. And in addition, space situational awareness and EUSPA, since the 1st of July of this year, becomes the front desk of space surveillance and tracking data. So IRIS is the last part, which was not already in the regulation, but was negotiated in March 2023. And now we're starting to realize this program as well. So let's go now to what exactly is EUSPA doing and what is the mission of the agency. So EUSPA, as the agency of the European Union for the space program, is focusing its activities around 3 main pillars: exploitation, security, and market uptake. Exploitation, this means that we have to ensure that the system of the Union, Galileo, is 24/7 operational and provides services to the users. Also, we're building now the GovSatcom hub and preparing for the new system of telecommunications, IRIS. And since the 1st of July, as I mentioned, we are the front desk of the EUSST, the Space Surveillance and Tracking Consortium that has been operating for a while. The second pillar is security. EUSPA is unique in the area of security because we are responsible for accrediting every single component of the European Union. And in order to do that, we have a security accreditation board where we have all the different member states sitting there. And then we look into the security of the various components of the space program. How do we do that? This is done also, we have operational centers in France and in Spain where these activities take place. And when it comes to the market uptake, we have all of this infrastructure. We have to ensure that they are taken up by the market, taken up by supporting applications which can be used for governments or commercial purposes. And we will have a little bit more detail on that part as well. So Galileo. Galileo is the best system in the world, and we're very, very proud of that. It is 3 times better than GPS and 10 times better than the GLONASS one. So it is, this system provides different types of services. It is free and open access, so the open services. It has the public regulated services which will be coming up, and they are dedicated in order to support encryption and to ensure the integrity that is there for governments. Then we have the search and rescue, which is the SAR. This means that Galileo has a unique capability where with specific beacons which operate on Galileo, if someone is in distress and they send a signal, it goes to the satellite, then it goes to the emergency centers, and then once they receive the signal and they let you know that they are coming, then you have the possibility, you have a return leak, and that is unique to Galileo compared to any other system. In addition, very recently we have opened up the high accuracy services, which combines also data coming from the different stations in order to increase more the accuracy of the signals. And later on, we will have the commercial services for authentication. Now, when it comes to EGNOS, EGNOS is the augmentation system that we have also operating on GPS and other type of GNSS signals. We have safety of life. Today, EGNOS is used for more than 400 airports and heliports in order to secure the safety of life. So this is a little bit about Galileo. Then Copernicus, I'm sure you had the opportunity to learn quite a lot. So it has different type of services from atmosphere, maritime, land, climate change, security, and emergency for disaster management. We see quite a lot due to climate change. A lot of phenomena are very extreme, and we see a lot of floods and fires. So Copernicus gives the possibility to provide information and early warnings to those that are in need of that. Then governmental satellite communications. I mentioned to you that the Union is entering with the last regulation of 2021 in building up a governmental satellite communication system, which recently EUSPA has done a big study in collecting the user needs and putting them together, and then we will be engaged into the preparation of the IRIS program, which is the new telecommunication system of the Union via satellite for resilient and interconnectivity with security. Space surveillance and tracking. We are doing a lot of activities in space. We need to ensure that our assets are secure. So since the 1st of July, EUSPA has the possibility to receive and to look into the different data of the various member states by using their assets from the ground and observing what is happening up there. And we are engaging with issuing warnings. So there have been a couple of times where we have seen in the news that a piece of a booster or something is going through the airspace. So we are engaging with the aviation authorities in order to ensure that such warnings are put in place. So applications, so market segments. EUSPA, also its predecessor GSA, became very well known for engaging very much into the applications area, bringing together the possibilities that space can offer in 17 different market segments. And there is the report that the agency is issuing every 2 years about these market segments and how they evolve. The latest one was 2 years ago, so next year we will have the new one, talking about Earth observation and navigation and how these markets evolve. So be aware the next one will include telecommunications as well. And just a little bit of a small video to see what this relates in relation to the 17 market segments and the trends that are there. You can find this also on our website. And just to tell you, because since you're now graduating, you never know where you're going to go. There are different type of things you might engage in. We have specific projects if you go to industry or academia, where we are engaging with Horizon projects, fundamental elements in building new technologies and applications. Also, for those that might want to become entrepreneurs, there is the Cassini competitions for entrepreneurs, where we are nourishing, let's say, and giving the opportunity for startups to get involved into the various activities that we do with hackathon competitions, different type of programs. Overall, I want you to remember that EUSPA is an agency of the European Union, which means that it is dedicated to ensure the activities of the EU space program and to support the agenda of the European Union. And here there are a couple of highlights: to have a stronger Europe, Green Deal, digital, and resilience. And just to tell you that look at our website in terms of opportunities. We have opportunities for all our job vacancies are opened in our website. And we also have possibilities for paid and unpaid traineeships in all different type of disciplines. So I wish you all the best for your future careers, and looking forward to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christina, for your compelling presentation. We are honored to have you here today. So, does anyone have any questions? Please, this is a unique opportunity.
Yes, please.
What are the main countries that you work in the EU? Is it all of them, or is there like hubs in specific places?
So we are an agency of the European Union. This means that the EU member states are the member states with which we engage. And the rules for participation, for example, if we talk about the Horizon, is the Horizon rules of the European Union. In terms of employment, it is the member states of the European Union and those that have some agreements with the Union. And they, let's say, it's related to the European Union. So this is a little bit the answer. They don't have, in terms of the projects, this is what I wanted to say, because Václav mentioned before that the European Space Agency has the principle of georeturn. This principle does not exist in the European Union context, so everything is fully competitive. And this means that there is no limitation to a member state's participation to our activities. It is open for everyone. The same thing applies also for hirings in the agency, in contrast, let's say, to that of the European Space Agency that has the restriction of the georeturn. We don't have that. So, as I mentioned, EUSPA has a very special role when it comes to security because it has to ensure the security of the infrastructures and the security accreditation. This means that we invest in all types of security-related elements, including, of course, the cybersecurity element as well.
Anyone else? We still have time for one quick question.
Maybe I have a question.
Please do.
So I would like you to tell me, so I will ask you to raise your hands. How many of you are engineers? Okay. How many of you are lawyers? Okay. Economists? Physicists? Mathematicians? Okay. Thank you.
Let's thank Christina again for her wonderful presentation. And please accept a small token of our appreciation, the CTU Blue mascot. And a pen. Thank you for having you here.
Thank you.
As our next speaker, I'm pleased to welcome and invite Maria Němečková from ESA BIC, ESA Business Incubator, here in Prague. Please, Marie, take the floor.
Okay. Send the clicker, maybe?
Yours is PPT or the PDF?
It's a PDF. This is this one. Yeah. Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? I see a lot of sleepy faces. So while it's loaded, okay. Can we maybe get the full screen mode? No, this is the, okay. There should be like a thingy, but it's okay. Here, yeah. Read mode, here. No, maybe there's a full screen mode. Oh, that's okay. I think it's okay. Is this working? Oh yeah, we're working. Okay, great. So hi, my name is Maria Němečková. I'm the incubation manager at the European Space Agency Business Incubation Center in the Czech Republic, as was introduced. And I'm here to talk about the European Space Agency and what it does in the Czech Republic and in the let's say, industrial policies overall. So I understand you all are alumni of the Space Masters, right? Just to get to know my audience, maybe. So let's start. Oh, yeah, good. So I suppose everybody knows the European Space Agency, which is an intergovernmental agency established in 1975. And as was already mentioned a few times, Czech Republic is a member since 2008. European Space Agency is more scientific than EUSPA, for example. They focus more on space exploration and human spaceflight and deep space missions and all that, while I would say EUSPA is more practical and down to earth here. But that doesn't mean we don't do stuff for the Earth and for people on Earth. European Space Agency focuses on many different aspects. As you can see, those are all the sectors that are the main focus of the European Space Agency, especially within the downstream sector. I suppose you are already familiar with that, so I'm just going to skip that. I'm going to get to the main part here, which is the ESA commercial policy, or as it was mentioned, there's a return policy. And one of the parts is the ESA commercialization gateway, or the approach of ESA towards industrial support and support of the industry and industrialization of space, basically taking advantage of what space has to provide, technology transfer, downstream data, and all that. Me, personally, I'm part of the ESA-BIC, and we are part of this network. It's not only the ESA Business Incubation Centers, but are also PhilLabs, which is more, let's say, scientific support. There's an extensive investor network, technology brokerage, and all that. You can find more information on the website. I'm not going to go through too much detail, as I only have a few minutes of time. And I'm going to dive into our network in general. As you can see on the map, the ESA Business Incubation Centers are all over Europe. More specifically, there's at least one in every member state of ESA. Here in Czech Republic, we have one, and I'm going to get to that later. But overall, it's more than 25 centers. There's more than 200 startups incubated every year, and we tend to focus on supporting small businesses and people that want to start. So now I'm moving to the ESA-BIC Czech Republic. It has a lot of different partners that I mentioned below there, nothing to be worried about. And now let's get to us. We are here in 2 different cities. We're one incubator with 2 branches, one in Prague, one in Brno. So even if you would decide to move somewhere else in the Czech Republic and would like to be incubated with us, you can still do that. You don't have to be based in Prague for this. A little bit of history. We were founded in 2016, 8 years after we joined ESA. And within the first program, we supported 34 startups. Now we got our second branch, Brno, together, and we are under the brand of ESA-BIC Czech Republic. And we envision to support around 40 startups until the year 2026. We have 2 operators in Czech Republic. That's why if you write me an email, I'm going to reply with a Czech Invest email, because here in Prague we're under Czech Invest, in Brno we're under the South Moravian Innovation Center, and we have 2 to 3 selections per year, so that might be more interesting. What do we offer? What is the incubation about? Maybe a quick question to the students. Do you know what is a business incubation? What is an incubator? Great, perfect. Because sometimes I get, like, people don't know what incubation means, so. Okay, let's dive into that. We offer up to 2 years of incubation, which, I mean, of course, there is financial support. There is ESA technological support. You get to use the ESA brand, and you get to network with people from the whole space network. So if you would like to establish a business of your own within the space area, this is a good starting point. We do target startups that are in the very early stage. Most of our applicants do not even have a company when they come to us for support. So if you are thinking about starting, that's a good idea. Of course, we're here at Space Masters, so we are looking for space-connected startups, space-connected businesses, space-connected ideas. That could be building your own satellites, but it also could be, using downstream data from, for example, I don't know, Copernicus, Galileo, and all that in the applications on Earth, you would be surprised that about a third of our startups are in agriculture, for example. Anyways, a bit of numbers. We've selected overall and supported 51 different startups since the beginning. And we do have quite a bit of data that says that for every euro invested, they've got more than 12 euros back from VCs, angel investors, and all that. So the program works. That's what I wanted to say, probably. You don't need to speak Czech in order to apply to us, so that's maybe also an information that is important for you. And yeah, as I mentioned, 2/3 of our startups were founded because of ESABIC, not because they were founded before. How much time do I have? I was swinging through. We have startups in many different sectors. Right now, we've seen a rise of analog missions. I don't know if any of you are familiar with analog missions, but it's been quite emerging in Europe, and especially in the Czech Republic. We have 3 startups focused on that. And there's actually going to be a CHASM workshop next month, for those who are familiar with it. We have a lot of UAVs, a lot of satellite communication, most of them using Galileo because it's the best, and a lot of Earth observation startups. As I mentioned, a lot of our startups work with agriculture, so that's that. Okay, so, and I was told this is more supposed to be focused on your career path because you're alumni. I'm sorry, I'm talking to the other side of the room, but yeah. So I've selected a few, let's say, examples of how you can go work with ESA, for ESA, or how you can get engaged with the space industry supported by ESA. First of all, opportunities in European Space Agency. There was already a question on the member states within the opportunities in USPA, so I've included that. In order to be able to work or participate in any programs of ESA, you need to be a citizen of one of the ESA member states or the associated member states. So I don't know where you guys are from, but it might be a bit disqualifying. Will they get the presentation afterwards? Yes. Yeah, okay, so I included the links to all the programs that ESA offers for you as graduates. They also have programs for students that are still studying, but I suppose that's not for you. Also, just as, for example, USPA, ESA uses a lot of personal agencies to contract their people, so it's always a good thing to get registered with a personal agency if you want to work in the space industry. Secondly, we here in the Czech Republic, if you would like to go for an internship with any of our startups, we do offer an internship program. So you sign up through that link over there. This one. Oop. And it's usually 1 to 2 semesters. Honestly, a lot of our students that are, or like young people that are involved in the internship are often after offered a job. So that might be a good experience for you as well. And we've seen this poll, how many engineers and all that is here. The internship range from marketing up until engineering jobs. So that's option number 2. And option number 3, which is why I'm here, you can apply to ESABIC. You can come with your own idea, your own team, your own everything, be your own employer, and we will help you start. We will give you the money necessary to start a business. We will give you the mentoring, the networking, we'll teach you everything. And you can become one of the next unicorns in the Czech Republic. Okay. That is all from me. Feel free to reach out. Oh, sorry. Feel free to reach out on LinkedIn or via email. You even have my phone number there, so don't be afraid to call and ask. I'm available for you, and that's that.
So let's thank Marie for her exciting input. I hope there will be a chance to talk later. The growing network of space-related small and medium enterprises is impressive, and if you join ESABIC, you immediately get connected to the entire network, which is an additional benefit. Yep. But for now, please accept a small token of our appreciation, the blue CTU lion.
Thank you.
And a pen.
Oh, beautiful, thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you here today. Does anyone have any questions? Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, I felt like we were in a hurry, so, but I get it. That's why I sped up the presentation. This is nice.
So I would like to know, with all the different ESA big centers that are in Europe, what are like the main difference in between them, and what will be, for me, the reason, for example, to choose the Czech ESA big center?
Well, because the Czech space ecosystem is the best, I would say. And you know, you've heard we have USPA here and all that. But yeah, in general, the program is the same in every member state. You get the same amount of money. You get similar support as in the other states. There is actually a given number of hours of mentoring that you're getting from the ISABIC. There is, yeah, basically everything is the same. The contract is the same. Everything is the same. But there are regional differences, right? In some countries, the general ecosystem and the connection of the agency that is operating the ISABIC is like better. Somewhere it's worse. It really depends on the ecosystem of the country. So we do actually have a few companies that are not Czech. Like founders, yes, we have a lot of foreign founders, but we actually have about 3 companies that transferred from some other country to Czech Republic for the ISABIC because they found out there are like better engineers in the Czech Republic, or one of them is the analog missions one that found out that there is a very good environment for analog missions and all that. So I would say you can go to any ISABIC, but look at the ecosystem, look at what is around, and then choose, because you don't necessarily have to be tied to your own country. Yeah.
Anyone else? No,
Okay.
well, let's thank Maria again. Thank you very much. And let me now invite the European Innovation Center, ETON European Innovation Center from Roztoky u Prahy. Please, the floor is yours. Please.
Okay, hello everybody, good afternoon. My name is Luboš Tomiška, and today it's my pleasure to represent ETON here. Being more specific, ETON European Innovation Center from Roztoky u Prahy. I typically start, let's say, with the question, who knows ETON? Or who is aware about ETON, at least a little bit knows the brand? Is there anybody? Yeah, I see some hands. My lessons learned is that typically the people either doesn't know ETON at all, or connecting ETON with some, let's say, home circuit breakers for electric installations, or UPSs for server rooms. Those are the typical products that are known by public, but I think the rest of the company is not really known. But as you will see, the company has much more to offer than just UPSs or home circuit breakers. With the brand name ETON, nowadays you will a lot hear the sentence, we make what matters work. At the end, it's that all of our products are somehow following strategy or some DNA, which is, let's say, that we are trying to manage the power in efficient and sustainable way. Also nowadays, as you know, everybody is talking about digitalization, about artificial intelligence, and also this trend is visible in our products. And talking about the ETON, also nowadays you will hear a lot that we are saying that there is no better time than now to be an intelligent power management company. Yeah, as I said, our products needs to be more intelligent, because actually I started with the efficiency, and you cannot make the product more efficient if you don't know the use cases or how the products are operating. It means you really need to have data first, and then to think how to make them more efficient or more reliable, and so on. That's in this statement, intelligent power management company. Also something about the Eaton culture, or about the company, how the company looks from inside, or how we want that the company looks from outside. That's for me important to mention, because I think this is also very important to understand that this is somehow mirrored or reflected how we are running our business globally, how we are, let's say, running our R&D programs, how we, let's say, consider our engineers as an important asset in our development. Definitely, we really pay attention about our employees. It means safety, health, and wellness of our employee is super important. We also, let's say, pay attention, let's say, how we are considered by our suppliers. We want to be considered by our suppliers as a reliable partner. The same with our customers. We want to be considered by our customers as a reliable supplier, reliable R&D partners, because a lot of products we do supply to particular customers are developed based on their requirements. It means those products are tailor-made. It means the relationship between those two parties is always very important. Yeah, a little bit about the company. I think Eaton is still US-centric company, but from international tax law, we are Irish. It means the official headquarters of Eaton is in Dublin, Ireland, but let's say the majority of the board still is located in Cleveland, Ohio, in the United States. With this, let's say, change, like that the Dublin is the headquarter, like international headquarter, we came to some situation that the European headquarter, or EMEA headquarter, Europe, Middle East and Africa, is in Switzerland, in Morges. You can see also some financials that the company, let's say, did overall sales in 2022 more than 20 billion USD. That's somehow indicating the size of the company, and quite good net income, more than 2.5 billion USD. I will start a little bit with the history, and then slowly we will move to Innovation Center and then to aerospace business, because I think that's probably for you the most important part. The history of the company started in 1911 in Detroit area, and at that time Eaton starts to deliver some of the components to newly born automotive industry in North America. And the automotive and truck industry was growing business. It means also Eaton was growing and was more successful than the competitors, and we acquired a lot of competitors. It means that the vehicle group, or vehicle and truck business, become bigger and bigger, which was good for the company. But as you know, that automotive industry, or also truck industry, is somehow going up and down. It means it's not really stable. It means after Second World War, the company was thinking about diversification of the business. And in 70s, you can really see that the company is not only automotive company, but there are also another businesses. At the time, it was mainly hydraulic and aerospace. At the time, we started to grow the aerospace business, because also at that time, aerospace industry was really growing fast. And we grow the business in this direction, and with this we made our business, let's say, less depending on one industry. We made the business more diversified. It means we could somehow guarantee the growth of the company continuously. And I think in 70s already also started some acquisition in electrical industry or in electrical sector, but it really speed up at the beginning of this century. At the beginning of 2000 or at the beginning of 21st century, Eaton starts to acquire a lot of companies in electrical business, and the reason was obvious. The world is going, let's say, more and more in let's say electric direction. Now you can see, let's say, there is a more and more electric cars. It's called e-mobility. We are also talking about, let's say, more electric aircrafts. All the actuation in aircrafts will be more electric because the electricity or electrical power you can control much easier than hydraulic or mechanical power. And the trend of today is, we do call it energy transition, but it's mainly about renewables and all the trends you see in the power generation, that the power generation is somehow distributed. It's depending on, let's say, wind, on the, let's say, sunshine and so on. It means you somehow need to deal with those, let's say, not really reliable energy sources, but it's important because those energy sources are the renewables we want to use and more. It means in this, let's say, energy transition, everything's connected. We do have, let's say, building energy management systems. We are trying to manage, let's say, vehicle charging within the building. We are, let's say, trying to make these peak shaving and to make all the systems, let's say, efficient, and also, let's say, make them reliable. Because if you cannot rely on some of the energy source, by default, you don't have a reliable system. But with our solutions like battery storage system, building energy systems, our solutions are reliable, or the systems are reliable. Just a quick overview. You can see that the company is split to electrical and industrial sector. For us, let's say, or for me especially, industrial sector is the most important one, because Innovation Center, I am managing the industrial sector. I am responsible for aerospace and vehicle business. Sorry. Yeah. And then a few words about Innovation Center. I think, you know, I said during the morning session, but not all of you were there. Innovation Center was established in year 2012. It means we do have already more than 11 years of the history. Currently we do, the Innovation Center is located in Roztoky u Prahy. It's really close to Czech Technical University campus in Davice. I think it's about 8 kilometers from Davice. Currently, we do have more than 190 engineers working for different divisions, different teams. We do have 11 dedicated laboratories, and our engineers or the company already applied for more than 60 patents, and currently I think 16 are granted. It means that we do have already some proven record of let's say, our R&D capabilities and competencies in various fields. And now I think the part which probably you are waiting for is the, let's say, aerospace division. I do like this fancy picture because, you know, F-35 looks, I think, from many point of view, let's say, as a nice airplane. Everybody will be relying on them, and we do supply a lot of component for this airplane or for this fighter jet. You will see later on some split. But, you know, military industry is not the most important one. I think it's nice to mention, but I think our biggest customers in aerospace industry are those two big players, Airbus and Boeing. Just, let's say, see the footprint. When I was talking about Eaton as a whole corporate, I said that it's US centric. I think for aerospace group, I think it's very relevant. Aerospace group is US centric group, but we do have some production plant in Europe, and I think the major activities in Europe are done in United Kingdom. Obviously, US and United Kingdom are somehow connected in aerospace industry, especially military application. There is a lot of joint ventures, and the companies are cooperating a lot. And now about, let's say, the product portfolio. I think we can start with hydraulic systems. Those are very traditional product used for, let's say, movement of the movable part of the wings. Then interesting, let's say, category is fuel and oxygen systems. Fuel, I think Eaton has a kind of, I would say, almost monopoly for fuel system in the frame of the aircraft or the distribution of the fuel. We do have a components for the distribution of the fuel, and also we do have a, let's say, components, or we are delivering whole infrastructure for airports for fuel refilling at the airport of the planes. I think some of the, let's say, interesting components are oxygen supply or oxygen system. That's, for example, what we are delivering for F-35. It's the oxygen supply for the pilot. That's part of our, let's say, mission system division. And also, let's say, very interesting, let's say, product or product category. We are delivering system for air refilling. Again, it's military application. And we do deliver the part for F-35, and we do deliver, let's say, the counterparts for these big airplanes. They are refilling the fighter jets during the operation. We do have, let's say, division, or we do have a components in the group of motion control. Those are some specific, let's say, components for moving the landing gears or some another applications. We are also very strong in engine solutions. We are delivering, let's say, for some engines, engine fuel pumps. That's, let's say, our, how to say, prime product. And we also do some engine seals. And I think by mentioning the seals, some of Eaton seals were operating, or I'm not sure if still are operating on Mars, because we have delivered some of the components also to space industry. Another category, fluid and conveyance, air conveyance. It's some, let's say, fluid or air distribution within the aircraft. And we do have some, let's say, components for electrical power. That's also somehow confirming what I said, that also the aircrafts are going to be more and more electric. Not the propulsion system, probably that's probably the last component which will be electrified, but we are also working on electric propulsion systems for some vertical aerospace applications. You can see here one of the example, especially, let's say, our, let's say, research group, Eaton Research Lab in Innovation Center. We already delivered some of the power distribution boxes for those electric aircrafts. And it's something what's somehow connecting not only aerospace business, but also vehicle business with the rest of the Eaton. Actually, the competence of Eaton electrical sector is power distribution and circuit protection. And that's exactly what also needed for anything in electric aircrafts or electric vehicles. It means circuit protection, power distribution, like the to create electric brain of those electric cars or electric aircrafts. Yeah, actually that's everything what I have prepared. I am ready for some questions, and I will also participate in the afternoon in this networking session. It means feel free to reach me out for any specific questions. I will be more than happy to answer them.
Well, let's thank Lubos Tomiška for his interesting presentation. I would defer questions for later, and let me introduce the last speaker in the first session, Oksana Kovarževa from ESC Aerospace. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. So I have been informed there is a coffee break after my presentation, so I will be really fast. Thank you. I am here as representing company ESC Aerospace. Okay, So I will try to be fast. We are a company, Czech company SME, which is focusing on avionics. And we are based in Prague since 1999, so it's almost 24 years. Those are some projects which we took part on. You can see that even small company in small country can take a part of really big projects. Some of them you already saw in the first presentation. Okay, and there are a few engineers here today, yes. So are you a space enthusiast wanting to kickstart your career? Then we are looking for you. We have few opening positions already in our company. Software developer engineer, hardware electronic engineer, test engineer, and FPGA engineer. Those are some required skills. I will not go through it in detail, but what I wanted to say, as a small company, a small enterprise, there is always place for young people trying to find their careers in aerospace. And we also have opportunities for the students to have some find the thesis topics which they would like to do. So there are few what you can do, or you can even contact us directly, and what you are interested at, we can combine together with on the project on which we are having right now. So that was really fast. Thank you for your attention.
That exceeded my expectations. Thank you. Thank you very much. I would just add one sentence because Oksana seems to be quite modest. The ESC Aerospace, the company, is currently working on the first, if I'm not mistaken, Czech space missions to measure the radiation fluxes in the sublunar space. They're going to send a probe to the Earth-Moon Lagrange point, which I find very fascinating from the point of view of celestial mechanics. And they're going to measure the fluxes, their radiation fluxes, which is aligned with ESA's research agenda. So that's impressive, and you would have a chance to work on something as ambitious as that at ESC Aerospace.
Yes, thank you.
So let's thank Oksana one more time for her interesting presentation. And it is my pleasure to invite you now to the coffee break with the refreshments prepared by our wonderful ladies, and enjoy the poster session as well. There may be a surprise there for you. So enjoy. We will see each other here back in 15 minutes. So, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed coffee and the refreshments. We have to keep a tight schedule because the students, let me remind you, have to leave at latest from this building at 3:30 in order to prepare for the closing ceremony. So the students have to vacate at 3:30 to be in the Bethlehem Chapel in time. It's a short walking distance from here, not a problem if we all leave on time. So, without further ado, let me invite, focus on content. Let me invite Burak Yaglioglu from TÜBİTAK Uzey, Turkey. Please, Burak, the floor is yours. input earlier today. Thank you. As our next speaker, I would like to invite Philip Whitman from the Swedish Institute of Space Physics, Institutet för Rymdfysik. Please, the floor is yours.
So thank you for the for the introduction, and thank you for inviting me here. I will follow Oksana's approach, as I heard we're quite short in time. So yeah, I am representing the Swedish Institute for Space Physics today. As most of you are already aware, we are located in Kiruna. Amongst other places, we are a governmental research institute, and we are having Earth observation from ground, and we have also space instrumentation flying all across the solar system. And yeah, we are roughly 100 people. Here you can see the most recent group picture we have taken, located not only in Kiruna, but also in Uppsala, Umeå, and Lund. And we are divided into 3 different research programs, 1 for ground, 2 for interplanetary space. And if I'm going back in time, we were funded more than 60 years ago, so we do actually have quite some observation data from ground, and our first participation in a space mission was 1968. And from there on out, we were constantly one of the more important players in space in Sweden, and are part of bigger missions throughout the solar system, like JUICE. And if I'm going back to the different research topics we have, so ground-based, we are observing polar stratospheric clouds, we are observing auroras, and we are doing that with instruments both on the campus in Kiruna and also with stations all around Kiruna and Sweden. Then, going back to the space missions, we are both building plasma instrumentation, as you can see in the top right corner, and Langmuir probes, as for example in the bottom left corner. And we have visited most of the planets in the solar system already. The only 2 planets missing are Neptune and Uranus. We also have visited a comet, or actually 2. So yeah, I think we were quite successful so far. And we are part of education. As you all might know, we have participated in courses for the Space Master. We are educating PhD students, and we are then, of course, also hiring people. And jobs you can find for us or with us are engineers, scientists, postdocs, or PhD students, where the last of them might be the most interesting for the people who want to participate in science in the future. And with that, good luck for your future.
Thank you, that was quick. One quick question, possibly for Philip, from anyone? Well, there will be a chance later during the reception. So thank you again, Philip, for a wonderful presentation. And as our next speaker, I would like to invite Sanjay Nekanti, a founder and CEO of Dhruva Space, a Round 6 Space Master alumnus. Please, Sanjay, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It's really nice to come to Prague and present about Dhruva Space. I graduated from the Space Master program in 2012. Before joining the Space Master program, I remember writing an email to Victoria saying, hey, I've worked on India's first student satellite project, and I'm really keen on enhancing my knowledge of building satellites through the Space Master program. And I said, at some point I would go back to India and probably, start building a relationship between India and the Space Master Consortium. Today, it's such a pleasure being here, talking to fellow Space Master alumni about what Dhruva is doing for the world. Just to give you a perspective about the Indian space program, I'm sure few of you would know that we landed on the moon very recently. So over the last 40 to 50 years, India has built a fantastic network of small and medium scale industries, largely supporting the Indian space program. So if you look at the history, till date, India has launched about 125 of its own satellites, of which maybe about 55 are operational today. But if you were to compare that with what is happening in rest of the world, US government alone has probably about 800 of its own satellites. Chinese government has probably about 500 of its own satellites. This is pairing so many other numerous companies that have launched several constellations of satellites. So India largely has been well known for its launch vehicle program, because a lot of foreign satellites were launched on the Indian launch vehicle, considering the reliability and the costs. So when I worked on my first satellite program prior to the Space Master program, I thought, we are a country with 1 billion people, but why is it that there's not a single private company in India that's actually building from India for the world? And that was actually the motivation for me to start Dhruva Space, primarily to lead the privatization of satellite industry in India. From a leadership perspective, I think if there is something that I would really want you to take away is, your peer groups really matter a lot. If you look at the founding team, all of us have been classmates in college. We studied together even prior to our engineering degree. All of us were doing different things in life, and after finishing our higher studies, we all came together to start the company. Of course, when you're building a company, having fantastic set of advisors definitely helps in the growth. To name a few, we have Lieutenant General Anil Balla. He's a former Director General of the Defense Intelligence Agency in India. I'm sure you can notice Chris Hadfield over here. Chris Hadfield is one of our advisors. He's been quite supportive of what we've been doing in India. And then we have Niels Boos, who's the outgoing CEO of GomSpace. So in general about what we do as a company, I think I told you about the number of satellites that are going all around the world, and the limitations in terms of what national assets India has. Around 2017, 2018, some of the large companies like Planet Labs, Spire, etc., had come out into the public and said, satellite manufacturers are unreasonable in their pricing. All of these companies were looking at having constellations of satellites, tens, hundreds of them. And they would say, like, when we go to a satellite manufacturing company, for one satellite, they would assume, for one satellite, it would cost you $1 million. If you need 100 satellites, it's going to cost you like $100 million. That's primarily because, the satellite industry has largely been fragmented. So you have satellite companies building satellites, you have rocket companies doing rockets, and then you have the ground station companies who would only do ground stations and would not know much about the satellite segment or the launch segment. But there was a very, very important need to stitch all these three pillars together to make these constellations feasible. And that's what we started chasing as a company. So as Dhruva Space, we work across all the 3 verticals: space, launch, and ground. Today we have a 10,000 square feet office space in Hyderabad in India. I'm sure you must have heard about ESA BIC. I'm also happy to bring to your attention that we as Dhruva Space also graduated from ESA BIC in Austria. So we also have a European entity, and we're looking at starting the European operations very soon. In terms of the technology stack, I think it's easier to say what we don't do. On the space segment, we don't build the propulsion system. On the launch segment, we don't build the launch vehicle. And on the ground segment, we pretty much do everything. So I think it is fair to say that we are moving towards full vertical integration within the company. When it comes to ideas, or if some of you guys are thinking about having your own company, I would say that some of the areas that we are very keen on looking at either investing into companies is people who are working on new generations of payloads, people who are working on new types of materials. In terms of unfair advantage or value proposition that Dhruva brings to the table is, as Dhruva Space, we are a team of about 70 people. But as a company, we have more than 300 registered vendors with us. Majority of these companies have been supporting the Indian space program for the last 40 to 50 years. So we don't do a lot of manufacturing in-house, but we leverage this ecosystem to manufacture to our needs. I'll skip this slide. In terms of satellite platforms, we're looking, we're largely building satellites up to 300 kilograms. So we don't have a smallest satellite listed over here. It's a half-U CubeSat, which we built mostly for communications applications. Then we have a nano satellite platform, mostly targeted for imagery applications. And then we have the large platforms, where we are largely doing license production in collaboration with very large OEMs from around the world. So on the launch segment, we've been building the satellite separation systems, largely for CubeSats, but also for nano and micro doing license production. So one of the interesting things that we did with these satellite separation systems is we started looking at launching on demand, where let's say you're looking at applications around natural disaster, but you would want to launch a satellite all of a sudden. So one way of doing that is you put together a satellite, then you get a launch vehicle ready, and then you launch. Other way of doing that is, why not look at storing some satellites in orbit for extended periods of time? So we developed these deployers and also qualified them for later deployment. From the Earth station's perspective, we've built ground up, but also at the same time followed a model of acquiring companies for greater growth. So we are in the process of acquiring an antenna company which has been in existence for the last 40 years. So we build antennas ranging from 1 meter to about 13 meters in diameters, covering various frequency bands. We've also built a software tool for operations of satellites, where people can just plug in and schedule passes over a network of ground stations. Again, building on the Kiruna connection, SSC is one of our partners, so we are plugging into the SSC network. Also working with AWS to move the platform onto the cloud. One of our core specializations has also been in the area of developing space-qualified solar panels. In fact, we are the only company in India that specializes in building large-size solar arrays. One new element that is coming into the solar array side of things is we have started to work on rollable arrays, also in collaboration with some leading companies from North America. I think when you build a business, it is extremely important that the business is profitable and you have some sort of sustainability built into what you do, right? So oftentimes, people come across building these constellations of satellites. And if you go deep down and look at it, there will be a lot of similarities amongst all of these guys. So a company A would build an imaging constellation of, let's say, a resolution of 1 meter. You would also find B, C, and D building the same sets of them. So we took a slightly different approach where we felt the needs of certain countries can actually be fulfilled by using what is already in orbit and filling in the gaps with select set of satellites. So as Dhruva Space, we have 2 of our own satellites in orbit, but in practice, we are taking the benefit of about 70 satellites, which includes about 68 satellites from our partners. In terms of space heritage, we've gone to space 3 times in the last 1 year. And I believe this is one of the very strong testaments to what Dhruva has been doing in India. Our first mission was in June 2022, the next mission in November 2022, the latest one in April, and we are going to space again in December this year. In the first mission, we tested a 1U CubeSat separation system. In the second mission, we used the separation system to deploy 2 of our own satellites. The interesting part in this particular mission is that every component of the space launch and ground segment was completely designed, manufactured, delivered by Dhruva Space. In the third mission, we did the delayed deployment test for larger size separation systems. In December of this year, we would be testing the avionics package for the nanosatellite platform. In terms of upcoming launches, our hands are quite full for the coming few years. So we have a lot of CubeSat missions that will be going, but I'm equally excited about the nanosat and microsat missions. So we're looking at doing a couple of imaging missions, couple of communication satellite missions. If you guys are interested in getting your hands dirty, working with a fantastic team of engineers, you should definitely start looking at applying to Dhruva. We just announced the facility last week. So we are in the process of setting up a 300,000 square feet assembly integration testing facility in Hyderabad in India. Probably this would be one of the largest AIT facilities in India for small satellite requirements. We have lots of international partners who would be leveraging this facility for their own requirements. To name a few, we're working with the Swedish Space Corporation, integrating the ground station network. We are the India offset partner for Lockheed Martin in India. We're working with companies like Redwire to develop new generations of satellite platforms. And we work with a few European companies as well, like Kinéis, Comat, and Safran. So, guys, I wish you all the best. If you're looking for opportunities, you have my contact details. Please reach out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjay, for this fascinating presentation. And please let me now invite David Leal Martinez, CEO of ISAWare, a Round 3 Space Master alumnus. Please, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you. So, I'll start speeding up a bit so we can make it on time. So, hello, I'm David. I was born in Mexico. I've been living 15 years in Finland after I graduated from Space Master. Back at the time, I went to what it now has become Aalto University, before it was TKK. So, I went to Finland and kind of life was good. I'm still there, so no reason to leave. And after working 10 years at Aalto University running an electronics prototyping lab, I was invited to join Isaware as the CEO and janitor of the joint. And I'm going to tell you a bit of what we do and why it's important. So what we are doing at Isaware, we're into situational awareness. That is kind of a hot word that depending on the company, it could mean so many things. But what it means for us is putting data together, providing insight, helping you make decisions. We are a project-based company, so we are not a company that has anything to sell today, but we have been, okay, there was this project with the European Space Agency, this project with the European Commission, and that turned into projects that I wanted to talk to you about. So what we have been doing and where we want to go after that. So, small company, born 2016 in Finland. You know, they're, talking about Kiruna, it's like in the tropics, just south of it. And, well, there's a video, but perhaps I'll skip it for the sake of time. But basically, the founders of Isaware had long experience in building particle detectors and X-ray instruments. So, I actually started clicking here, but, well, it's easier. Let's see if it doesn't break. So I click this way. So they've been building X-ray instruments forever, and they found like the secret sauce of the future of X-ray instruments. The latest one, built under the flag of the University of Helsinki, is flying right now to Mercury aboard Bepi Colombo. So it's going there. It's still a few years to go, but it will be there. It started to move automatic to some extent. Is it? Oh no. I'll go back. Okay, maybe it continues. Okay, but well, after Bepi Colombo was launched, the guys decided, let's build a company, and that brought to being our Sunstorm mission. That we partnered up with a company that was called Reactor Space, that now it's called Kuva Space in Finland. They built everything but the X-ray flux monitor payload. That's kind of our secret sauce. So we focused on building the instrument, an instrument that there is no other instrument that can give you the X-ray spectra of solar events, and that way, I mean, with that data, we're still trying to figure out what to do with it, but I'm sure that eventually we're going to end up figuring out when the world is going to end. Well, guys at ESA liked it, and they hired us to build the same instrument, but radiation tolerant, to go into the Earth-Sun Lagrange system, Lagrange point L1. So we're going to be having our X-ray flux monitor going to L1 with NASA, but it's a mission done with ESA, so you know it just multiplies the amount of requirements we need to fulfill. But anyways, they have not kicked us out, so it seems to work. So we will be building for that, and in theory, if ESA has some spare money, it will also fly in the Vigil mission. So it actually, technically, we're building it for Vigil, but in practice, it will go to fly with NASA. Well, that's what we do for space. On the ground, we've been fusing both satellite data and ground sensors, and we have been building, let's say, next generation situational awareness systems for airports. So basically what we do is we optimize the takeoff and landing paths by taking into account really bad weather cells. We're able to forecast very accurately for a short span of time, so up to 40 minutes into the future, very high resolution forecast, and then we're able to tell the airplanes, okay, how you need to do, how you need to fly through. So we have now a pilot at Helsinki-Vantaa Airport. We're now looking forward to start growing the pilot. It's part of an ESA project, and we're going to continue in Estonia and in Sweden, and then take over the world. On top of that, we've also been fusing data against satellite technology with another flavor of AI for surveillance systems and a bit on perimeter defense. We've been working a bit with the Helsinki East Aerodrome. That is a new airfield that wants to do their own new way of doing air traffic without the big bulk of the airports. So we have been working on a proof of concept prototype with them, and some projects with the European Commission. And you know, you can probably by now see where we're going. We are again helping people make decisions. And the last one I want to mention, we're also using Sentinel data to be able to predict, well, to estimate the amount of plants that someone is digging now to build a very large infrastructure. We're talking about, there is a country that I cannot disclose which one it is, but they're building something that is about 2,500 square kilometers. So we're helping them estimate how much plants they're going to dig out, because they need to tell the UN and their government so they get the green light. So then we work with them, we estimate, okay, how much biomass they're going to take away. So in a nutshell, that's what we do at Isaware. And some of those projects, they started as projects, and we are now on the process of productifying them. So we're looking for people who have like the business mindset and who are interested to going to live to the, the country with was it the happiest country in the world in Finland? So if you really want to go live in a refrigerator that it's a bit warmer than Kiruna, just let me know. But thank you everyone, and hope to continue to have a beer or have a chat there at the graduation. So congratulations everyone, and see you around.
Thank you very much, David. That was amazing. Thank you. We'll get a chance to talk later. But now I'm happy to invite Jean-Dominique Coste from Airbus Blue Sky, a senior manager now, but a round 2 Space Master alumnus.
Yeah, grandfather.
Space Master grandfather. Exactly. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So I actually followed by the letter the assignment from Annette, which was talk about your career. So I apologize for the lack of technical depth of the presentation compared to the previous one. It's going to be a very personal story. And I have to say again that it's really a big honor to be invited here today. I completely remember sitting where you sit right now, thinking about my future, what's coming after Space Master, how is life going to get. And here I am, you cannot stop the wheel of time, and I'm really, really pleased to be here to talk a bit about that journey. So it's going to be a bit of a journey through space and time. No, actually, that's the wrong presentation. That's the one for this afternoon, for the graduation. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. That's the one. So it's just an example of a life that somebody can lead after Space Master. So I started, actually, the turning point, thanks to Victoria, who supported me very well. I had a chance to go to the European Space Agency to do an internship which was my thesis. So I answered ESA, being very, a bit shaky, like, will they kick me out after 2 days? Am I good enough? And I worked on life support systems. So it's a really cool project called Melissa, where they basically built a system where, if you put humans in that system, they will survive all the time. And so you can drop them in this box on the moon, whatever you want. And it's fully recycle everything they do. So it's really for long-term planetary exploration. Can be used as well on remote areas on the ground. Super interesting because these guys were mostly biologists, and I was the only space technology, space science guy in the team. Who will help them to bring that technology to the International Space Station to do some tests. And also they asked me to try to analyze how this thing could work on the moon. So where should we land it on the moon, etc. So I was exposed to the world of human space flight, which was a dream for me, this old dream of becoming an astronaut thing. So working with astronauts, preparing the operation of this experiment in space was very cool. And I decided then to join after that the industry because ESA does a lot of coordination and planning, but they don't do actual, I wouldn't say actual work, but they don't do the concrete things. So I joined Airbus. You might know Airbus as a big plane manufacturer. Airbus is also the #1 space company in Europe, as well as the #1 defense company in Europe. And Airbus is operating the ISS for ESA. So I joined as a system engineer. And I was working for Columbus, so this is this European module of the ISS. So for the first couple of years, I was basically preparing all the experiments and operations that the astronaut had to do up there. So when basically a scientist was coming up and said, I would like to try this in space, and then I was telling him, okay, this is how you need to design your whole thing so that it fits in the station, and it's not going to blow up and explode the whole station. And then up to the point where actually it was in space, operated by the astronauts, and making sure that the operation were fine. Since this was going pretty well, I was promoted to be the so-called NASA interface. so representing the European industrial interests in the ISS towards NASA, so working a lot in Houston, sometimes in Cape Canaveral as well, where we discuss basically the evolution of the station. So, how do we evolve the requirements so that they fit the new technology coming in, that whatever NASA wants to do is okay with what Europe wants to do. So it becomes a little more political. Very interesting nonetheless. We had meetings in these rooms where they actually designed the Apollo program. Very boring room, but a lot of story and soul in these ones. And yeah, so a big memory from that time was this. I was also in charge of one project. I could join NASA ESA project called RapidScat. And we went to the launch, and it was an absolutely, heartwarming soul, having a lot of tears in my eyes, because you sit there at night and you see the fruits of your work taking off to space at night, and it's like this light is making the whole landscape turning like in the daylight for a few seconds, and then it flies off, and all your efforts and dreams, etc., are going to space. It was super inspiring, and it really wanted me to do more. The only thing that was really missing, it was a bit of like creativity and giving an impact, basically, with my work, because ISS is such a super complex program that it's all about following the process, making sure everything will be safe for the crew, etc. And as a young engineer, it's very difficult to try to bring some change and to I want to create something for the world, not just what people have decided in the 90s for the ISS, and that was just not possible in that program. So I applied to the innovation processes of Airbus, which was really nice. I guess many companies have the same. So when you, as an employee, have an idea of a new project, new innovation, you submit it to a panel. Then if you're selected, they give you money, they give you a team, and then you can explore your idea. So I did that a few times. A few technical ideas that found their way, but surprisingly the most successful of my project was totally non-technical stuff. It was something called the Airbus Cafe. So at the time, there was the things like Fab Labs and co-working space were not really popular. And I said, we really need to have a space where technology enthusiasts from other industries and basically the civil society should come and meet Airbus people, and we should co-work on future product together. And that was really successful. We rolled that thing in 6 different cities across Europe. But most importantly for my career, it put me a label here saying like, this is the young guy with cool ideas. And because of that, management will invite me to management meetings to give my opinion as a young creative person towards big management decisions and strategic decisions. So that was really very nice. When they were deciding on should we open that new line here, the new program, we want to have a guy like that to tell us his opinion. And I was exposed to the world of strategy and management, and I thought, wow, that's really interesting. I used to think that engineers were the one building the future. Well, they're actually building the future, but they're not deciding on the future. And I thought, okay, I want to be where the decisions are taking place, because this is where I can shape things. Which led me to, I'm going to skip this one for the sake of time, to this. So I managed to enter the strategy department of Airbus, and actually at the defense and space level. So basically in charge of writing the strategic plans for the complete defense and space business of the company worldwide. So I had to learn a lot about defense. They put me initially on space project mostly, but then it was also mixed. So what was the job like? So I completely quit anything related to technology, which was a choice, not an easy choice, but yeah, a career choice. So basically preparing plans for the executives. So you may think CEOs are having good ideas about the future, etc. But at least in company like Airbus is not the case. They only decide on things that people prepare for them. So I was preparing plans for them, and we would go to these meeting boards, and they would say, okay, this is good, yeah, this is crap. You go back and work again. So sometimes frustrating, but when you have a plan that works, it's really impactful because they really roll it out company-wide. Some of the stuff I worked on was the future of launchers for Europe. So how should Airbus keep being involved in Ariane or not? Should we go back to the political decision makers and tell them that the way Ariane is managed is actually a bit of an embarrassment and change it? I worked on the future combat air systems, so basically the future of defense, which is involving air assets, space assets, ground assets all together. But the most fun part of the job was all of these flags here. So I was doing the international growth strategies for Australia, Indonesia, Korea, US, Italy, and France. So basically, thinking about way how the company could expand its footprint in these countries. So a lot of traveling, quite some geopolitics involved, because Airbus was representing the European industrial interests in all these countries. So a lot of meeting with ministries, etc. And very fun job, I have to say. And then coming to the last step here, almost last step. I came through that job, I came in touch with a guy who was the head of a department called Blue Sky. And he convinced me to change. Basically, Blue Sky is a department in Airbus that is in charge of exploring future, very long-term technology for all the company. So completely breakthrough stuff that the company is not looking at yet, but will completely change commercial airliners, helicopters, military jets, satellites, everything else. And I managed to actually become the head of that department, which I'm now for almost 3 years. Or 2.5 years. So what do I do in Blue Sky? Still quite a lot of management. So I'm a board member of the Airbus Technology Board. So we are deciding on where the company will put resources and money, what kind of people we hire, etc. For the complete portfolio of Airbus. Some cool projects I worked on was space-based solar power. So actually my team has been pioneered the development of space-based solar power in Europe and has inspired ESA to start their program on this one. We're still running strong on this. We've worked on, well, we're still working on the future propulsion system to make completely zero-emission aircraft as well. And thanks to all of this, I had the chance to go on a lot of TV channels. So it's going quite well, but I have to say that the pinnacle of this career is to be here at the round 17 graduation and to share with you all of this with as much humility as I can. And happy to talk to you over a drink afterwards to know how was your experience in Space Master, what do you want to do, and just enjoy. Thanks.
That was very inspirational, thank you. We'll catch up later. And now let me invite the last speaker for today, Callum Loney from Luleå University of Technology, representing Giron Space Organization, Giron being a local name for Kiruna. Loney, the floor is yours.
Okay, hello everyone. So you just had presentations for Space Master alumni. I'm not one yet. I will hopefully be graduating next year. I'm around 18. And I'm here today to speak to you about GSO, a Giron Space Organization. So GSO was founded by students at the campus in April 2021. So we're a very new organization, only like 2.5 years old. And the objective of this organization was to basically help coordinate all the student projects on campus, because that is something that is really interesting and quite unique to the Kiruna campus. It's not that they are student projects, because that's quite a common thing, but that there are so many projects, and also that they're really popular. I think there's about 100 people on campus, and I think at least 80 people in projects. So it's a huge part of the campus and our student life. One of the main objectives of this is to procure sponsorships that the university can't get to help support these projects. And we also want to not only support existing projects, but also help create new ones. If people have interesting ideas, I'm like, yes, you can do a project, we can help you with that. But also if for some reason a project ends early or finishes but didn't quite do what it was supposed to do, then we want to help restart that project if people are interested. Yes, we have regular activities, things like we have meetings pretty regularly to help make sure people are up to date. And we've also started organizing workshops to help build skills that we think are important for most people to know. So for example, a couple of weeks ago, I ran a latex and overleaf workshop because that's a lot of our projects use that for documentation, but also in reports for our courses, we use that. I think the next workshop is going to be a 3D printing and SolidWorks workshop, and we're also going to do more, some more programming-based ones like Git and C++, and more if people have ideas. Yeah, so the interesting thing, I've been told to keep it quick, so we'll skip to the fun bit, which is our projects. So we currently have 6 student projects. Alma in alphabetical order. There's a few people here from Alma. So yeah, they were a BEXIS project with 2 payloads. One, the main box to detect aerosol levels in the atmosphere, and then the ozone zone box to check ozone levels in the atmosphere. And they launched just over a month ago from the SOH Space Center. It's the second GSO project to have launched after Aster last year, which was on Rexus 30. So really pleased for them. Yeah, congrats, guys. Aptas is quite an interesting one. It is aiming to be the first CubeSat developed by Swedish university that is launched into space. So it is a 1U CubeSat with 2 payloads. One is a radio transmitter, and the other is a camera. So they are in the process of finishing phase D. They're hoping to launch next year. Yeah, we'll see when that is exactly. Yeah, and then some CAD drawings of what things look like. Oh yeah, they have, I call it their own clean room. It's maybe a bit of an exaggeration. There is a nanosatellite lab that was built on campus, which primarily Aptas uses as a nanosat project. So yeah, they have a very nice clean room, a very good one, where they do all of the assembly and integration. And they're also building their own ground station on facilities built on the campus. Arne is probably the smallest project we have in GSO, and it's still an interesting one. They are building a wing that can help to stabilize a falling payload of some kind. Yeah, so they're using 3D printed materials, and it's built in the shape of a maple seed. They use that as their basis for, like, as an inspiration. Yeah, so they are currently working on that. I did have a video to show you how the thing works, but I made a mistake when converting this to PowerPoint, so we're just going to skip the videos. FASTER is an attitude stabilization platform to be used in microgravity situations to make sure that whatever payload is inside is perfectly still in microgravity. Yeah, as I've mentioned, the Aster project, which did something similar, but on a rocket. This is for parabolic flights. The advantage with this is that although you get significantly shorter microgravity times, you can repeat it over and over again. So they are progressing nicely. They are building and testing. They'll hopefully be flying for the first time next year and then doing more flights afterwards. Raven is a kind of a similar project to one of the projects here at CTU. They are a hybrid rocket project using hybrid propulsion, so paraffin wax as the solids fuel and nitrous oxide as the oxidizer. So they have just finished building their small-scale engine, as you can see here, and a test bench to go with it. So they are waiting for their oxidizer to do some hot flow tests. They did do ignited tests, and actually, that's the next part. Yeah, they make their own fuel grain using, and I'm not kidding, a repurposed second-hand rice cooker. But apparently it works. He says we don't innovate. Yeah, and I was going to show you the ignited test, which, yeah, brought some interesting results. And then lastly, VoidCube, which is a project I'm in. We make a series of cubes. Each cube has a satellite system in it. And then the idea is you can connect them in whatever configuration you want. Things that look sensible or things that are completely not sensible, but the idea is that it will still work. Yeah, so we're still in the design phase. We'll hopefully be starting to build in probably about 6 to 8 weeks. And yes, as I said, one of the main goals behind GSO existing is to have a network of sponsors and partners to help support other projects. So we have obviously we have LTU as a partner, and we've also got a few in the pipeline. Mythicus here is a student project in Luleå. They also build and do rocket tests as well. And we are looking to get a lot more of this. And I think that's it. Thank you. If you have any questions, let me know.
Those are some really interesting projects. Thank you, Callum, for your presentation.
No, thank you.
Thank you all for coming. We had a great event. Please, around 17 students, go to the Bethlehem Chapel to proceed with preparations for the closing ceremony. The rest of you, enjoy the poster session. Again, thank you for coming. You made today special. Please, around 17 students, your attention. Please.